So let's go ahead and get started here. So we've headed through the. Should we give him a little minute? Okay, so we headed through the tunnel, and noticed a little bit of peculiarness there, and now we're. Oh, let's see. Where's the map? Oh, I think let me put the map back. Well, we're in the chamber where. Does everybody remember the ice floor?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here we go.
Nordak is updated.
Okay. And we all have new tokens. I need a marching order. Let's get some new tokens out here.
Spent a lot of time on Nordak's token. You better appreciate it. 70% transparency to get his sword glowing.
Oh wow, nice.
Excellent.
I will march at the back, as Mars called.
Oh, I see. Let's go back here before the time tunnel. Okay, you guys.
I do have another question, actually, rules question before we get started.
Sure.
I think the basic rules have a different proficiency advancement for the characters than what is built into the character sheet online. So, what's the best way to resolve that?
I don't know. We should be having a +1 to all of our rolls that have proficiency.
I think because I was playing around with it before, I think if you just increase the level to 7, then it goes up to proficiency bonus 3, and I don't think the level affects any of the other rolls. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but
No, that should work.
That sounds good, yeah.
I mean, we'll be level 6, but then on the character sheet, if you just say that it's level 7, then the proficiency bonus is 3.
Yeah, I was doing that for the monsters, guys. Yeah, that would be fine.
Wilson, why is your proficiency bonus 3?
In the basic rules, proficiency bonus was updated to start at 2 on level 1, and then it goes up by 1 every 4 levels.
Yeah. The
So 5th level you get 3, and then onwards.
Won't that affect the character sheet updating your hit points?
No.
It doesn't update your hit points automatically. Not off level anyway. Can't find any table.
Well, it looks like it's time for a new character sheet.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're going to update them.
They better get to work.
I submitted a change for the formula they're using, but they haven't updated it yet, it seems.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too difficult to update.
No, it's literally 1 plus your level divided by 4, rounded up, is now your proficiency.
Okay, guys, so you see Arden. You see a gentleman walking towards you.
Followed by a donkey.
Arden raises his hand to the back of the party, and he says, "Hold, Dragon Slayers. I see some foulness about."
Why, hello there, Arden, my favorite nephew. I haven't seen you in ages.
And Arden says, "Behold, the most cruel and foul and self-serving of any man I know. It is
I hear
Reese."
you've been telling your friends about me then?
And then
Surely
Arden,
I'm not all that bad.
And then Arden says, "And what brings your carcass out here in the middle of the night?"
Ah, you know, out on a stroll. I do what I do. Watch some birds. There's some pretty cool ones around here. Though not as many since that flying demon went over, I fear.
Ooh, you saw that.
Arden kind of, and then he just starts laughing. He lets out a bellowing laugh, and he says, "Uncle Reese!" And he runs over and he gives Reese a big hug.
Hey, kiddo. And Reese hugs back.
And Arden looks over at the party, and he says, "This man taught me everything I know. Everything."
For good and for
He's the one responsible.
Don't yet blame everything on me, please. I have no control over what he does, even though I may like to.
Now, what are you doing here? The last time I saw you, you were in the middle of the city trying to work off that debt. I've racked up quite an amount of debt myself.
Yes, well, you know how it goes, ups and downs.
Yeah, Lord McAllister, he'll never find out, because he kind of sweet talked his daughter, told him that neither of us are really responsible for this debt.
Ah, good. I see you're learning then.
So what are you doing out here in the middle of the night?
Well, I was actually just wandering around bird watching, and I saw this temple, and it seemed interesting, so I wandered in.
Bird watching.
But this is yes. Come on, surely you must remember my hobbies.
Bird watching out here.
Yes. As I said, it's obviously not been as good as a, giant flaming demon flew over and toasted a few of them, but it was entertaining for a while. Plus, I have to walk the donkey every now and then.
Where did you saw a flaming demon? Where did that go?
I don't know, that way, and he points sort of in the general direction of Evergreen, I guess.
Now, when you saw this demon, did you happen to see a very shiny-looking mace, possibly stuck in its bum?
I'm afraid I was slightly distracted.
Maybe worth quite an amount of money.
Perhaps you stuck the shiny mace too deep.
Towards Evergreen, you say?
Yes.
Oh.
I think so, anyway.
Did I hear Evergreen?
Oh, balls. I was hoping to go the other direction, because we're going to Evergreen.
Well, looks like we may have got a party waiting for us then.
Listen, Uncle Reese, I need to tell you about this business proposition, because me and my employees, we've been adventuring for quite some time now, and we found this very expensive silver mine run by dwarves that are just constantly getting attacked for no apparent reason, and we've just been gallantly protecting them, and we're really getting pretty loaded here. Now, with your magical skills, I'm thinking that perhaps we can create some sort of protective enchantment for these dwarves, and then we'll just charge them triple.
Well, protective enchantments aren't really my style, but I sure can try and/or pretend.
You can come up with something, I'm sure. It doesn't even have to be a real enchantment. It just looks like an enchantment, you know.
I know, I can do that.
Something
that
we can charge them for, because we're already rolling. We're rolling pretty well. And Arden takes out this big bag of gold that he pilfered from the tomb.
Reese just puts a hand on Arden's shoulder and goes, "I see you've grown, kid. You're learning."
I'm all following the principle that you've taught me, Uncle.
Very, very good. So who are these companions of yours then?
I'm not sure I like
bunch
being
of boys out here.
Oh, they're just, Arden kind of leans over and whispers in his ear. They're just hirelings, really. And then after he whispers in Reese's ear, he says, "Well, these are the stalwart dragon slayers, Arden's dragon slayers. And here you see,
I see.
Fist of Fury, Mo Swift, and our demonic friend, Morlin, the stalwart, valiant paladin, Nordak, Frostfell, and, what was his name again? This guy. He's very strong."
I step forward and I introduce myself. Iman Gray, a pleasure.
Well met, Eamon. I am Reese.
Listen, Reese.
Arden's uncle.
Uncle Reese,
I'm
you
sorry to hear
really
that.
have to come with us. We're gonna go to Evergreen. We're gonna celebrate, and I won't take no for an answer.
All right. Well, first I'd like to introduce you to my friend who's been staying in these shadows for a while because he seems to like them so much. This is Sancho, and he sort of gestures over, and the donkey walks out, and he's carrying this guy sort of lolling around on his back, dressed pretty nicely, but he seems like a weirdo. And he says, "This is my servant. He's not the brightest of the bunch, and he has a vow of silence or something. I don't know. He doesn't talk much, but he's useful.
Well,
I hope you don't mind if I drag him along.
followers
He'll be
that
mine.
don't talk sounds like it's perfect.
Good."
I guess sometimes I wish Nordak would talk less.
Ah. Yeah, well, paladins, the righteous fury. You know me, I don't believe there's a god. Or any gods. I believe in the weave. Still, because of this momentous occasion, I've been carrying around this flask of fine halfling brew. And I figured I'd save
Arden's
it for
eyes
you.
kind of pop out of his head. Did you say halfling brew?
I did say halfling brew. And he hands Arden a flask from his pack.
Arden licks his lips. Hand it over here. Over here. Arden takes the flask and just kind of he unscrews it. He just chugs the whole thing down. Oh,
Hey, are you sharing?
oh what perfection. Oh,
Reese wanders over to Moswift, nudges him, and goes, "Hey man, if you ever need something from Arden, just get him some halfling brew. He's a sucker for it. Honestly, he'll do anything for it."
Ah. What does it taste like?
Yeah,
tastes like
it's
a
some pretty
dream.
beer.
And Arden burps.
Not passing it around, Arden?
Well, you know, it's a good 18 copper a cup. It's a bit
It was a
rich.
present for Arden. Sorry, I did not anticipate him to have quite such an entourage.
Arden kind of takes out his flask and he says, "Yeah, well, you can have the dwarven ale if you'd really like. I'm satisfied. Life is good. Let's go slay ourselves a demon, dragon slayers."
Ooh, can't wait.
All right, let's.
I don't know, that demon seemed pretty powerful to me.
Well, let me put it this way. There's some people who just get afraid of anything that comes along, and then there's some people who are afraid of nothing and will charge blindly forward. And sometimes you have to just figure which one of these people are you.
Are you calling me a coward?
Arden beats his chest. No. And he starts laughing. Fear is all in the mind.
I could help prod you along if you'd like. He says,
Iman
to
says
An artist says, with
your
Uncle
notion of
Reese
bravery
here,
sounds more like stupidity to me.
stupidity, bravery, they're the same thing.
Yes, welcome to Arden's world. Sorry, Iman.
Arden says, with Uncle Reese here, this dad demon doesn't stand a chance. I've seen Uncle Reese melt Balors with spells.
Yes.
He is quite powerful.
Good old.
There's nothing to fear.
Alright, so we just witnessed the unleashing of that fiery beast. We've had a short rest. Apparently the Taldor have won the first stage of the battle. According to Reese, the beast has been heading toward, or flew towards Evergreen. It is the home of several of us, and the refuge for the rest. So let's go ahead and we leave the Tomb of Nemia. Moreland says goodbye to his newfound friend Enric, which was the skeleton guardian of Nemia. And we're heading back down the... it takes about a half a day to get back onto the road, the merchant road, and heading northeast or northwest, we'll be heading into Evergreen. So when we first overlook into the valley after a day and a half, beyond that, we see surrounded by those majestic peaks of Evergreen, there's a dark, dismal fog twisting, much like the fog that swirls on the floor in the tomb of Nevia. It covers the whole valley floor. It actually climbs up into the mountains just below the mountain peaks, so you can see the mountain peaks, but not below that. It heads into the valley where the Copperknight mines are. So pretty much you're looking into a valley of fog.
Nice place you've got here.
A bit early in the season to be so foggy.
Okay.
Oh, what are you waiting for, guys? Show me around. I've never been here before.
Apparently neither have we. Arden's kind of scoping the mountains out. He says, I'm not sure, did we get lost? Let me take a... I mean, we stayed on this road back to Evergreen. I don't understand why things are looking different right now.
As you round a bend, not far in front of you, you see a wagon train, perhaps the merchants that brought Arden and Nordak to town several months ago. The wagons are draped in colors, cloth, flowing cloth, very colorful. And there are men walking along in front, back, and on the sides of the 5 wagons. I need a marching order.
Reese will be sticking close to Arden, wherever he is.
Arden takes the lead.
Of course.
Brave leader.
Iman will follow Arden, acting as tough guy.
Arden.
Mostwith is going to take head off into the trees or in the rocks, whatever, and stealthily move alongside the party. Try to find some high ground.
I see you've got some sneaky types along your followers then. Very
Who
good.
you calling
This'll be
sneaky?
useful. Yeah, well, the one who just wandered off into the trees for one.
Huh? Who? Where?
I'm not going to point him out to you, that would give the game away.
What is Mark, Kyle, what are you guys doing? Did we lose them? Kyle?
I'm following Arden.
Mark's not in the chat for some reason.
Mark's not in the chat. Oh, I see. See what
Is
happened.
Mark playing Marskal right now?
I have no idea who Mark's playing.
No. He's playing... Oh, where's... Oh, yes. He would have to
Marskal
be-
is Dave's previous character. Hey, didn't anybody see where those werewolves went?
What
Good
werewolves?
question.
You, Uncle Reese, you do know that we've employed some werewolves.
We have Casimir and
Well,
Mark.
no. Honestly, I wasn't aware you had a party left.
That's a testament to our magnificence.
Right.
Even creatures of the
Werewolves
night
and a paladin.
wish to join Arden's dragon slayers.
Very good. Looks like you're making a name for yourself at last.
It looks like Mark has joined us.
I'm here.
Ah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he missed the
He missed
everything
the.
that
Oh,
happened
no.
before.
Okay, so basically we've been we left the temple. Morlin is his family has been the guardian of the temple, and so we left the temple. We're back on the road. Casimir and Marskal are somewhat uneasy about the situation. You can tell it's not too difficult. Marskal, go ahead and play out your character here. David?
Oh, sorry. I assume I'm uneasy because of the lack of terrain that I know, then, or something. Not quite sure why I'm uneasy. I also don't have control over Marskal.
Oh, really? Ah. Hold on. Oh, I archived them, that's
Yeah,
why.
I changed it.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Alright, well, I guess I'm uneasy because of the lack of familiar terrain. Oh, Marskal's now also named Reese. Very good.
Here, let me.
So, Marskal looks around, sort of confused at why the terrain is not as it used to be before we entered the temple. So he walks over to Casimir and he says, Casimir, I don't know what has happened. Everything's changed and I don't see any familiar features around. I think we should go and find our pack and see what happened, if anything.
Casimir says yes. I don't like traveling with humans anymore. We should go
Fair enough,
with
then
our
we
own
shall go.
kind.
And Marshall sort of announces to the group, guys, thank you for assisting me in finding my brother. I hope that our assistance to you was payment enough, for we don't really have anything else to repay you with. And we would like to go and find our pack now to see what has happened to him.
I'm really sad to see you go, Arden says. I hope we're fortunate enough to meet more werewolves.
If we find our pack, we'll make sure that if you meet any, they'll be friendly.
Alright.
Safe travels.
Thank you. And with that, wander off into the forest. Presumably in a different direction from us.
Alright, so they walk off. So what do you guys do? There's a wagon up ahead with armed guards.
Colorful drape.
I suggest Arden and or Reese go and talk to them and ask them if confirm if indeed we are in the correct area. I myself have never been to this region of the land, so I wouldn't recognize it even if it were the same.
What do you presume this wagon is doing here? We didn't see any wagons on our way down.
So these wagons are draped in colorful drapes, right?
Yes, and you're about 100 yards, so about a football field.
So
And
Reese
they're
explains,
moving much slowly.
circus people, my kind of people. And he starts walking off towards the carts to chat to some of them.
Arden kind of tags along behind. He's a little confused. Because I could have sworn there were trees in this part of the road, and now there are no trees. He points his finger
Yeah,
up,
well,
trying
trees
to get
fall
a
over.
sense of direction.
As you approach, you can tell that they obviously know you're there, and word works its way through the caravan, and the colorful soldiers in back, bows, swords, that kind of thing, pole arms. They kind of just nod you forward. Like, they acknowledge you're there, not worried about you or anything. They just nudge you forward, kind of with a nod.
Alright. To the front of the caravan we go then.
As you work towards the middle of the caravan, you see an old, very old lady on one of the wagons.
As we walk up through the wagons and such, I just want to get a head count of about how many people there are in total and how many of them look like they're soldier or fighter types.
Okay, so you have about 50 who look well armed, and there's probably double that women and children.
Wow. Okay, so quite a large group.
Yeah.
So, bored with walking, Reese approaches the nearest soldier and goes, "Hey man, I'm lost in this caravan here. Where do you keep your drink? Honestly, it should be somewhere at the front, but I don't see anything."
Where do we eat or drink? He says, "Go
Yes.
talk to the madam. Go talk to the madam."
What madam?
He's referring to the old lady on the third wagon in the middle.
Alright, so to the madam we go. Reese sort of wanders off towards the madam.
As you walk up, this very large woman, appearing very ancient and wrinkled, kind of peers her gaze over at you. Welcome, welcome. Please, come into our camp. We welcome you. I am Madam Eva.
Hello, Madam Eva. So what are you doing this here camp? Seems like a circus troupe, but I don't see any circus around. Honestly, you should have some animals. It'd be fun. Also, drink. But, you know, I also don't see any drink. Seriously, what's up with this?
Circus. We are no circus. We are the Vistani. We are
What?
traveling merchants.
Traveling merchants? Merchants of
Yes.
what?
Well, we deal in this and that. Potions, armor, weapons, whatever you may need.
Alright. Well, I personally don't need anything, but ask my companions, they seem like they need, you know, a bath. If anything.
Madam Eva stares at you for a while, making you feel kind of uncomfortable, like she's sort of sizing you up. And then
Man.
she kind of, you see that she's working something. She puts her hand to her pocket and she starts fiddling with something inside her pocket, and she starts smiling very creepily. And Arden goes up to her and he kind of looks at her and he says, "God, well, isn't this a terrible sight?" And then Madam Eva kind of turns to Arden, and then she turns back to you, Reese, and she says, "Please, take provisions, take some food and wine. We invite you in, please." And she opens her hand and invites everybody to come into the camp. You see that some of these Vistani guards approach the party and offer little bits of food and wine, very festive appearing. Most of them look like they are, you know, they don't really trust you, but they are inviting because she beckoned them to give everybody some food. Also, oh, go ahead.
Iman says, "Madam, we appreciate your hospitality, although we were simple travelers on our way towards Evergreen. Might you be able to point us into the direction of that town?"
Madam Eva kind of looks at you in surprise and she said, "Evergreen? Evergreen? I've heard that name somewhere. No, I do not know where Evergreen is. But you walk down this path? and you will reach the town of Barovia.
Barovia?
Barovia.
Iman looks a
he
bit confused,
smiles.
looks over at Arden and Reese and says, you assured me that we were near Evergreen, and have you heard of this town Barovia before?
Arden looks at the lady, and he says, What are you talking about? We just came down this road, and Evergreen is down this path. So I don't know what you're talking about with this town of Barovia. I think she's a little senile in her age.
Reese sort of pauses halfway through his third glass of wine with his hand full of food that he grabbed from every platter that was offered to him. And he goes, I don't know, I've never been here before. Don't ask me. And continues drinking wine and eating.
In the corner of the tent, you guys see a figure of a very thin woman, and she is sitting on the ground, apparently stringing a bow. Mark, you're up.
Okay. She looks up at them as they approach, and she's really interested in the non-human among them, because they never have seen anyone before. She looks at them and just says, where did you come from?
Arden does an immediate persuasion check on her.
Persuasion. Wow.
Well, hello, young lady.
Go ahead, roll.
Ah, my macro. So Arden kind of he kind of slinks over to Cylin, acting a little bit too aggressive and a little shady. Well, hello, young lady. Where's my persuasion? Why is it not working? I'm just going to roll it. Arden is rolling with disadvantage because he's kind of drunk.
Man, Reese doesn't function until he's drunk.
14 for persuasion. Arden is hitting on Cylin. Well, hello, young lady. What are you doing out here in the middle of the woods? You should be escorted. Sort of from I am Arden the what was I? Yes, Arden the luminous mighty warrior, and these are my my employees. What is your name?
I'm
lovely.
Cylin, and funny you should mention an escort. I am looking for escort.
Arden raised an eyebrow.
Oh boy, that was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
Well, you will find none better and none stronger than Arden the Luminous. And you can see there's just alcohol emanating from his breath.
At this point, Reese sort of jumps in and says, but do keep in mind we've only got like 6 bedrolls between the all of us.
You may share my bedroll if you need. I am a generous man.
I have my own. I'm always prepared.
So tell me, young lady, what are you doing out here in these parts?
I'm searching for my father.
Why would you do that? Oh, I mean, what happened to your father?
He disappeared, and I went to search for him, only to find myself attacked by a pack of wolves.
Wolves,
These fine people, they took care of me,
well,
but they're unwilling to move forward.
Well, this woman is clearly in distress and requires the help of Arden's valiant dragon slayers.
Reese sort of chimes in going, if I had wine this good, I wouldn't move forward either. I'd stay right where I was.
As your conversation continues, you start descending into the fog.
Arden doesn't notice.
Wait, the fog like thickens or we move on?
You're heading into the valley, and the valley is filled with fog, so you're heading into the fog. It's a normal fog.
The entire caravan? Or just us?
Entire caravan, yeah. They're heading to, as Eva said, the town of Barovia.
Very good.
Well, Iman will take them up a little bit on their hospitality and have some of their wine and food.
Now, there's no need to worry, young lady. We will find your father. Not a problem. A trivial task for those such magnificent as ourselves.
Are you sure? The place where we're headed has always been known amongst our clan to be evil.
Evil, ha! Evergreen? Well, if you think about the ale they serve in the tavern, it is pretty evil, but
I've never heard of Evergreen. We call it the Great Fog.
Great Fog? Oh, well, whatever, and such. Where we're going at Evergreen, we are a local celebrity. They worship us like gods. We will have no problem. We will find enough people for a searching party, and we will have your father located in no time. Young lady, that is what we do. And you notice Arden is getting uncomfortably close to you.
She wouldn't know about such things. She's very well shielded from the humans, so she doesn't know.
But he smells very unpleasant, given the amount of alcohol that he drank.
The caravan pulls up into a small little prairie, off to the side of the road, and they begin to circle their wagons, go out and look for wood for fire, get a campsite set up. And Eva,
I asked the madam, are you intending to camp? How much farther is this town of Barovia?
The madam is kind of she looks over into the distance and she says, "Is it your intention to go to Barovia?"
No, it's our intention to get to Evergreen, but you mentioned that the town of Barovia was nearby.
Yes, the town of Barovia is about a day's march that way, and she points down the same direction as you know Evergreen to be.
Full day. What time of day is it now?
It is getting towards sunset and evening time.
Ah, okay. Well, I say to the traveling companions, well, we might as well either camp with them or find our own camp. I don't think that we'll want to be traveling along in the dark in this fog.
Iman, as you say this, Madame Eva puts a wrinkly, gnarled hand on your shoulder, and you feel this really bad chill when she does this. And she says, wait, please, allow me to help you. And she says, I am a seer of sorts, and I wish to invite you into my tent so that I may read your fortunes. And she gives you a warm appearing smile, but something is a little bit off about this situation. You just get a bad feeling about it.
I thank her and I say, thank you, madam, but I must decline. I have no trust in such predictions.
And she says,
but would appreciate a nice a meal and to camp with your folk for the evening.
And Madame Eva looks at you, kind of staring you down, eye to eye, and she says, I insist.
you noticed everybody is helping one another set up camp. Everyone's very cordial, welcoming. Eva's a little bit quirky.
Reese is sort of wandering around, prodding people to get him a bed to sleep on.
Okay.
And
you have no trouble. You have no trouble from the guards. They give you a section for yourselves, and you can basically have no trouble with that.
Yeah, but I'm actually trying to convince someone to give me a bedroll because I don't have any.
They actually have openly give you a bedroll.
Oh, sweet.
Why don't you have a bedroll?
Thank you very much. I don't know, I don't camp much. I usually just find a place to stay. It's much nicer to sleep in a house in a bed if I can.
Madam Eva retreats into her tent that is being set up by some of the Vistani guards. And night sets in, and everybody is sitting around a campfire. One of the Vistani guards comes over to the party and sits down, and he says, "Madam Eva wishes to see you in her tent." And she says this to the entire party.
Good touch. I like the sound effects.
What? You're controlling the sound effects.
Someone was squeaking. It wasn't me.
Who the hell is John?
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
Very well. I stand up and I say, as she is providing us hospitality, the least we can do is to entertain her notions of fortune telling.
Arden says, "Watch this. I know this gig because Uncle Reese. You remember we ran this gig ourselves a couple of years ago. I was Phantasmo the Knower, and we had people coming in, and we charged them 5 gold apiece, and I would just give them the cold reading. Watch this. This is going to be good." And then Arden goes towards the tent.
Have you worked on your sleight of hand since then? Because man, that was awful.
Sylvan says, "This must be a great honor. I've never been invited to the Madam's tent in my stay here."
Moreland stays
Reese
silent,
tells-
and he gets up and also follows you guys to the tent.
Reese tells Sancho to sit around where his bedroll is, and then he'll follow
Okay.
everyone into the tent.
As you approach the tent, you see that it appears to be the biggest tent in the camp. There is a flickering candlelight inside, and you lift the tent covers and you go in one by one. The tent itself is very well adorned. There are carpets laid all over the tent. There are very colorful tapestries adorning the sides of the tent that have been put up. In the middle of the tent lays a wooden table that has nothing on it, and Madam Eva is sitting in a stool on the other side of the tent. In her hands, you see that she is fiddling around with 2 decks of cards. One deck she has in her left hand, and one deck she has in her right hand. As you look at the deck of cards, you recognize a symbol on the back of the deck of cards. It appears to be the Taldor symbol. And she's just kind of playing around with the cards, and she's looking at you, and she starts shuffling them slowly. The other deck of cards has what appears to be a symbol you haven't seen before. It has the head of a dragon on it. And then she puts the cards, both decks face down on the table, and she says, "Come, sit down."
Okay, I go and sit down.
Arden sits off in the corner, just kind of giving a cynical look to her. And then he mumbles under his breath, "She's going to try to sell us some religious trinkets. Watch. Watch, I know this trick."
Reese just sits down where he is in the middle of the room.
And then she says, "I am Madam Eva, and I am a seer of sorts. It is my duty to tell the future, and I shall read your fortunes tonight." And she kind of gives an inviting gesture over the table, and then she says, "Please, come, see what the future holds."
Reese casts Mage Hand and starts making shadow bunnies in the torchlight.
Arden starts chuckling, but Madam Eva just doesn't even acknowledge what's going on with the bunnies. Madam Eva says, "Will one of you step forward and have your fortune read?"
Well, if no one else is gonna do it, I'll do it, says Reese. And he sort of shuffles himself forwards on the floor without standing up.
Reese, as you approach you see Arden just kind of chuckling in the background. He's going to tell you that you are deficient in holy relics, and she's going to just happen to have a whole bunch of holy relics for 50 gold each. Watch. It's called cold reading. It's the oldest trick in the book.
I continue to make shadow buddies, by the way.
So Reese, as you approach the table, you sit down in front of the table, and Madam Eva looks at you and gives you a creepy smile. And then she says, she takes out the card with the Taldor symbol on it. She shuffles it very slowly, looking at you, and she says, "Tell me, is there anything that you fear?" Is there anything that you wish you would never see again?
An empty wine glass.
She fans out the deck of cards with the Taldor symbol on it, and she says, "Draw a card, please."
I draw one. At random.
And she says, "Place the card on the table."
Sure, why not?
Okay.
For fun, I will minor illusion the card itself above the table. 10 foot by 10 foot. Square, giant card, see-through.
And then Madam Eva sees you do this, and you see her eyes are getting angry. So she takes out her hand and claps her hand and dispels your illusion, and the card falls back down on the table. She says, "It is no laughing matter." And then Arden kind of looks over and he says, "Senile old lady." And she
What
says,
is life if there is no laughing to be had, honestly?
"Flip the card over."
You notice Moreland getting a little agitated at the levity. He's a very serious guy.
Oh, you right-click and you can flip the card.
Oh, cool. As it's flapping about.
So as you flip the card over and you see this figure on the card, and then Madam Eva looks at the card. She kind of ponders this for a moment, and she smiles. "Ah, the madness of a fractured mind." And then she kind of puts her hand on the card, and she's rubbing along the card very slowly, and she says, "Measure out the deepest hole when thou countest the pieces of a shattered soul. You will have the enchanter." And then she takes out her deck, the other deck, with the dragon on it, and she asks that you draw a card from the dragon deck.
Sure.
And you
I
draw
will, though, just to annoy her, put the, dude with the fiery arm up in an illusion anyway.
Make him float on the table again?
Yeah. And I say, this is not the laughing matter, right? I just want the other party to see what's going on. I mean, these kinds of tricks are best when there's a large audience.
And then she says, "It is not a trick."
Still,
Arden,
more impressive. Anyway.
Arden looks at it, and he casts a spell that you taught him too, the prestidigitation, and he makes the card kind of swirl around. And then she says, "Enough!" and she slams her hand on the table, nullifying your magics, and the card just falls down.
Meh.
"Do not test me now. Flip this card over. Let us see."
Purple, my favorite color.
She draws back, and she says, "You will find what you seek amidst the color of life. And then she takes back both cards. And then she says, let us see the fortune of another.
What, so my fortune was purple guy with an arm on fire?
The fortune that she has given you is, measure out the deepest hole when thou countest the pieces of a shattered soul. You were given the enchanter card, and furthermore, in addition to that fortune, you are told, find what you seek amidst the color of life.
Alright.
You may, she does not elaborate any further on what the fortune means. Arden says, yes, that's how they do it. They keep it vague and ambiguous so you can interpret it yourself. So psychologically, you feel that the fortune comes true whenever some events happen.
And Reese goes, don't you happen to have like a mystical symbol that is the color of life that I could perhaps buy? Obviously making a joke with the whole thing.
And then she says, the color of life. And what happens is, all of us, she waves her hand, and you see that what appears for a second appears to be a Maltese cross appearing amulet that is red. And then she puts her hand on the table, and she says, let us see the fortune of another. She kind of waves you off.
Reese goes over into a corner and pouts and says, well, she's allowed to use magic, but I'm not. That's fair.
Sylvan jumps up and down and wants to go next. She's desperate to find her father. Maybe this is...
Moreland says, enough of this. I'll go.
Aw. Let the girl go. Have some fun, man.
I'll go.
She looks at Moreland, kind of, squints her eyes a little bit. And she says, draw a card. And she gives Moreland the deck with the Taldor symbol on it. Moreland draws the card, places it on the table, and she tells Moreland, she gestures for Moreland to flip it over. Moreland flips over the card, and you see this symbol, or this figure. And then she kind of makes two fists on the table, and she has a pretty angry-looking countenance on her face. And then she grits her teeth a little bit, and then she smiles again, looking at Moreland, kind of friendly in a friendly fashion. And she, let me get this. She says to Moreland, time, oh time, it is time that grows a choking vine from a tossed seed. For before the fall of that first grain of sand, you'll spill the blood that taints this land. I give you the Archmage. And then she takes out her other deck with the dragon on it, and she says, draw. Moreland, kind of looking a little bit spooked, takes the other card, draws one, and puts it on the table. And she gestures for Moreland to flip it over, and he does. And you see this symbol on the other card. And then she says, you will find what you seek upon the glorious precipice of majesty. And then she just waves Moreland away without saying anything further. And she says, next.
I nod to Cillian, letting her go first.
Jumps up. Let me go.
She sees how excited Cillian is, and she kind of puts her hand for Cillian to calm down. And she looks at Cillian kind of with a sideways glance. And she says, now, you will draw. and she offers Cillian the deck with the Taldor symbol. Do you draw?
It doesn't really give me a chance here, unfortunately. I've got.
Oh no. Don't. What I'm going to put down a card.
Oh, I see. Go right ahead.
And she says, "Please, let us see what your future holds." What I need you to do is right-click and flip it over. And she looks at it, and she kind of gives a broad smile. A chilling echo of a memory of a shadow. To lift a sinful man from hell. Against the silence, one listens well. And she offers up the other deck with a dragon on it, beckoning you to draw. Oh, now she wants you to put that card on the table.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Just open
Just
that
as
card.
naive as my character.
Just drag the card to the table.
Yeah, you see when you click on your card, there you go. She wishes for you to flip it over. You can see her gesturing with her finger to flip it over. You will find what you seek amid a crowd of stars. And she's all smiles with you. And then she says, Who is our next contestant?
Reese stands up and goes, "Can I go again?"
She just looks at you with shooting daggers at you. And does not say anything.
And then Reese just gestures at Iman to go.
Iman takes a seat at the table.
Arden says, blah blah, somebody's gonna draw the death card and then get all scared. I know this. So Iman, as you sit down, she puts both her fingers on the table, both her hands with the tips of her fingers on the table, and then she kind of just starts clearing. You know, there's nothing on the table, but it appears that she's just dusting the table. And then she offers you the Taldor deck and beckons you to draw.
I take the deck and divide it into 3 piles on the table in front of me. And I take one of the piles out of the 3 and discard the other 2 and divide that into 3 piles.
Okay.
And then I take one of those piles and I draw the top card and place it on the table.
Okay. And then she looks at you, kind of amused at what you've done with cutting the cards. And then she just stares at you, obviously waiting for you to flip the card over. And she says, And then she thinks for a second, closes her eyes, and you can see her eyeballs are moving in her head while she's closed her eyes. And then she opens her eyes again very suddenly. She says, a brilliant suit of protection, forgotten with time, to awaken the strength of a hero past. You must find the eye whereto itself is cast. You are granted the High Priest. And then she takes out the other deck of cards, asking you to draw and put it on the table.
I simply take the top card and place it on the table.
And you are asked, as you flip the card, before you even flip the card, she starts talking. And she says, "You will find what you seek, where true evil cannot go." And then Arden says, "Did you see that? You see that?" So she already had your fortune preset before you even drew the card. You know, this is total scam. And then Madame Eva looks like she's really annoyed, and she kind of gives Arden a glance.
Okay. Well, I thank Madam for the fortune-telling evening. And again, thank her for the hospitality of letting us camp with the Vistani.
You are very welcome, and I appreciate your manners. And then she at this point she points to Nordak, and she says, "You will be next." Nordak just walks over. He kneels down, and you can see that Nordak is not very comfortable with this, and he starts whispering some hymns to himself and to his god. He doesn't really believe in this. And then she points to Nordak, and then she gives Nordak her Taldor deck of cards. Nordak takes the top card and puts it on the table, and when he puts it on the table, he just immediately flips it over. And then Nordak says, "What's this?" And Madame Eva kind of leans over and she says, "Those who know war know that true defeat is to live when your comrades have fallen. There is one whom you must find imprisoned long ago, whose cries shall light the fire that grants your valor's glow. For you, the Dragon Slayer." And then Nordak looks a little confused. He doesn't really quite comprehend what she has just said. And then Madame Eva kind of looks at him very surprised all of a sudden as Nordak puts his hand on his sword hilt. And then she says, "Oh, my. And then she immediately offers Nordak a dragon card, which Nordak takes and puts on the table. She beckons Nordak to flip it over, and he does, and it is a black dragon. And then she says, "Find what you seek upon the upheaval of your truest beliefs." Nordak does not look like he's happy to hear this, and he just gets up uncomfortably and walks away.
Does he leave the tent?
He walks kind of out of the tent. It's not comfortable for him to hear something like that. And then Arden, seeing Nordak has just, been spooked, kind of goes up to Madame Eva. Arden just slams a fist on the table. He says, "Listen, lady, I don't like the fact that you are just, you've just cold read my friend over there. You know he's a paladin. You know he's just a moron, and you just scared the hell out of him. And this is just not acceptable, okay? This is not how you do this. This is not how you run this gig. Listen, I've run this gig. I've run this gig myself. I run this gig in the city, and I make good money, but you're not supposed to have people get upset at your fortune, okay?" And then she looks at Arden, she says, "Do you wish to draw your fate?" And Arden says, "Please, lady. You think I'm a 3-year-old? And she says, "Then why don't you?" And she gives Arden the deck with the Taldor symbol. And Arden says, this is just, don't insult me, lady. Okay, I know how to run this gig, and your accent is terrible. And Madame Eva says, if you know, then you are not afraid to draw a card. And Arden says, you want me to draw a card? Fine, I'll draw a card. And Arden puts his finger on one of the cards on the Taldor deck, and you can see that he's hesitating a bit. You can see that his fingers are visibly shaking. He looks like he's starting to perspire. And he looks at the lady, and you can see that his smile is all of a sudden turning into this, kind of scared look. And he says...
Reese goes, hey man, if you don't want to draw a card, I can have another go. I enjoyed this stuff.
Arden says, we're done. We're through. I'm done with this mockery. And Arden just slams his fist on the table again, and he says, take your gold. And he just throws a handful of copper on the table, and he storms out of the tent. And then
That was a waste. She hasn't even offered you any holy symbols yet.
Madame Eva smiles, and he says, it appears he already knows his fate. And Madame Eva starts giggling, kind of laughing maniacally. And then you see the Vistani guard actually come in, and they gesture for everybody to leave the tent. And you leave the tent as Madame Eva is just sort of laughing to herself.
As you leave the tent, you notice above the sky the mist parts a bit, gives way to open sky. Through the sky you see black rolling storm clouds coming in.
Great, first fog and now rain.
Oh good, time to get me a tent as well.
Arden
Reese goes around and asks people for tents.
Arden is just kind of standing out in the middle of the rain. He has his lute just held firmly in one hand. He's breathing heavily. He's just looking at the ground, and he's got this petrified look on his face. The Vistani guards invite you into the tents and to take a rest.
I go up to Arden, who's just standing by himself, I guess? Is that what you said?
Yes, he looks like he's just standing by himself, looks a little afraid, looks deep in thought, and just staring at the ground.
Iman goes up to Arden and he just says, it is bad luck to offend one's hosts. You should apologize to that old woman so that we can have a peaceful night.
And he says, luck has nothing to do with this. And you can see there's kind of rain kind of beating off of his face. The rain's getting heavier. And he says, just leave me.
Okay. Well, then I'll go and find shelter in one of the tents that the Vistani are offering. And
Arden's,
hopefully by fire or something.
Arden's off to his own world.
Reese gets Sancho to move his bedroll into one of the tents.
And Sylvan stays wherever she was before she met with the party.
Okay, and you bed for the night.
Nice. How many
Well
people are
done.
in the party at the moment?
David, what'd you say?
How many people are in the party at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? Yeah.
Nordak does eventually come back later and joins you in the tent as well.
Good.
So are we all grouped in under one tent?
Probably a couple.
Okay.
You're gonna get a dagger.
Yep, I rolled that and I was like, yep, this'll do.
You notice Reese get up in the middle of the night and head over to Moreland's bedroll. Moreland grabs a dagger, quickly brings it up to his throat and says, "You're sleeping somewhere else, buddy."
You can take Arden's tent. He's not occupying it.
Reese is actually sleepwalking. It's one of his many, many flaws.
Oh. Moreland realizes what's happening and then escorts him back to his own bed.
Good.
And then slaps him awake.
Reese just wakes up and goes, "Hey man, what are you doing so close to my bedroll? If you wanted something like this, you should have said. We could have slept together in a tent on our own or something. Don't you want some privacy from your friends?" I mean, I'm good for this.
He
This
gives
is
you
okay.
a dirty look and heads over to his bed.
Ah, don't be a stick in the mud. Come on, man.
I'm sure Robert would appreciate.
Too bad he's not here. He'd love role-playing this one.
I'm sure he would very much appreciate if we if certain things happen to his character.
Yeah.
Alright. So by dawn, the campfire burns down. And they get a cooking fire going. Prepare for a morning meal.
Does the rain go away?
Yeah, everything's wet.
You guys notice that Arden has spent the entire night outside. At this point, he's sitting on a log facing the forest.
Reese goes over and hands him a mirror and says, "Man, you look like a wreck. Do something about this."
Arden is not very responsive at this time.
One of the children, the little girl child, curious about Arden, walks over to him, and his mother quickly sweeps her away. Somewhat suspicious. You think maybe she's just a little concerned about his state.
Yeah, Arden is drenched. He looks like a mess. You've never seen him like this, and his nice clothes are completely soaked through with rain.
I'll leave him be. I'll go and get some breakfast with the Vistani, and I'll try to take up a little bit of conversation with them if possible. And I'll say, from what land do you come from? From where do you come, and where are you headed, and that kind of thing.
One of the more friendlier Vistani, he says, "We have no land. We live on the road. We travel, we trade."
Oh, I've never heard of your people before. I come from lands in the west, the east, and I headed this way in search of Evergreen.
He says, "Oh, we have been far to the east as well. Where do you hail?"
I give him just the town name that I had.
As you tell him about your town and your home and even your country, he kind of gives you a strange look. He's like, "I have not heard of this country in the east. It is strange. But we have been all over the Eastlands." Something's sort of not making sense because you describe certain geographic locations like mountains and rivers, and he knows those locations, but when you describe this town and the villages and surrounding areas, he's never heard of them. And he describes to you names of different towns that you've never heard of.
I'm beginning to suspect some strange events have occurred. Well, I thank the Vistani for the breakfast again, and then I'll try to gather up the party and ask them what they want to do. Should we head to this town of Barovia, or maybe there we can find some answers as to what has brought us to this strange land?
Yeah, Nordak says we need to get to the bottom of this, because something is just not making sense here. How come nobody here has heard of Evergreen? And how
Nor
come
have
we
they heard of my homeland, which is far to
exactly? And we haven't heard of this Barovia. There's something is very strange here, and I can't help but think that it's related to that demon we released. We need to figure out what's going on. Arden, come on. And then Nordak has to go and force Arden to stand up and walk. And Arden is just kind of moseying on along. He's not saying anything. And Nordak is just kind of helping Arden along.
Well,
now, out of
Ian
character,
makes a
would
conjecture.
Scylla know the places as the Vistani know them, or would she know as the party knows
Well,
them?
Scylla has lived in the forest for a long time, pretty sheltered
Right.
life, so she does not know particularly of any human encampments. She does know of this evil fog, and she's pretty much on the outskirts of this evil fog to her knowledge. But she also has not heard of any of these human encampments mentioned. She's never heard of Evergreen. Barovia she hasn't heard of either. Her people are reclusive, and she's pretty sheltered herself. So this is all new to her.
Reese is just trying to get some wine for his breakfast.
Yeah, I'll see if I can just, restock whatever food provisions with the Vistani impose upon their hospitality once.
The Vistani very happily, offer to give you some food. They sell it to you for a fair price to bring along on your journey.
Great.
I ask if I can keep my bedroll.
They sell it to you for a fair price.
Alright. Well, if that's what it's gonna take, I'll buy it off them.
The shield walks over to the party and says, I need to find out what's going on with my family.
News for you, Mr. Shield.
Are you guys coming?
Evergreen.
I know the valley. The valley I've seen a million times. This is our valley.
Alright, let's go then. Reese is good to go.
Nordak seems eager to go and investigate what's going on, and he is sort of helping Arden walk.
Scylla will stay with the group. She wants to move forward to try to find any sign of her father.
We'll need a marching order.
I'll take the lead this time, Iman.
Okay. Go ahead.
Reese
Get
will
yourself in the
wander
middle.
around up front with Emon.
I can move my character over.
Okay.
Can't find my character. Here you
Who's
go.
the next brave soul? Nordak's anxious.
And as Sancho gets on his donkey, I point him out to the party and say, if you have any spare luggage or something, just chuck it on a donkey, I don't mind. And I'm sure Sancho won't mind either. Never complained to me anyway.
So Nordak says perhaps we can put Arden on the donkey. He doesn't seem to be able to walk too well right now.
That works for me, but keep in mind that Sancho has a terrible limp and he's incredibly slow. It's really very, very hard, but you know.
So Nordak goes over and he helps Arden onto the donkey, and he helps kind of lead the donkey. So I guess they're coming up the rear.
Okay. All right. Oops. Okay. So it is morning. The clouds, or the fog has returned. As you're walking along, you've been walking for about an hour. Maybe two. You guys, let's see. Yeah, you're all pretty familiar with the road itself. It is definitely the road you traveled recently, and I need you guys to roll initiatives.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Where are we? This map is gigantic and I can't find our token.
Okay, I lost my token. All I see is black.
All you see is black.
I think the GM you can like alt ping and it gives you, it drags everyone to that spot. If that makes any sense.
Scroll down a little bit.
Now I see me.
I moved around. Ah, there we go.
Up ahead, just beyond, just short of the distance that you see in the fog, there's a dog on the side of the road standing growling. This dog is about the size of Sancho's pony.
Wow. Very large dog.
What in the world?
Reese just goes over and says, "Hey, a doggy," and he throws him a ration.
A what?
A ration.
He charges you.
Oh boy.
I thought it was chained up or something.
Nope.
Yeah. Alright. Well, shit happens.
Try to be nice.
Yeah, try to be nice. This is what you get.
And he stops feet from you and just growls at you. And then walks back.
Old bark with no bite, I see.
Nordak runs up protectively in front of Arden's the donkey, and with Arden riding on top of it. And then all of a sudden, Arden starts talking. He says, "They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. I can feel them. They're coming."
I need everyone to roll perception.
Perception.
I would like to roll for Nordak, but I'm having trouble understanding his macros.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Just roll off the character sheet.
Yeah, I'll roll off character sheet.
Okay, on the perception they say enter the miscellaneous mod. What is that?
Put that to 0, unless there's
Oh.
something that's giving you a bonus.
Okay.
Like sometimes there's somebody's using a skill that gives you a bonus, etc.
Ah, I see. While we're on that, the red and blue marks, what goes in there on the token?
The red mark is in case you have any damage bonuses from anybody's spell, and the blue mark is in case you have any attack bonuses. At the present time, we don't.
The zeros is right.
Yeah.
Okay. Silly. Let me just do it this way. Okay.
Scylla speaks slowly to the party member nearest her, and she says, "I see someone or something up in the trees."
That actually looks like me, so I'll take a look at the trees to see what Scylla sees.
You have to go into the forest.
Okay, so I can't see anything from this vantage point.
No.
Did the marching order? I was next to Emon.
They're coming. They're coming. They will be here soon, Arden
So
says.
someone is there watching us. I'm not sure who or what it might be, but know that there are eyes on us.
Nordak says, quiet down. And Arden is just not even kind of acknowledging Nordak, and he just keeps yelling, they're coming. Oh, they're coming.
Someone shut him up.
Nordak actually gets to Arden and just kind of puts his mouth over Arden's mouth. He says, quiet.
His mouth over his mouth?
Not his mouth. Oh, man. Yeah, Anthony would like that, too.
Reese just 4 goals, and he goes, man, I want some of that action.
This campaign took a whole different turn.
Yep, it did.
Next campaign's notes for Nordak. FYI, you just hooked up with Arden. Hope you don't mind.
Oops.
Yeah, we've doubled.
Let's try that again.
Okay.
Alright.
What is going on?
We're having a malfunction here. Alright. So what do you do?
Looks like Reese is up first in initiative.
Reese is still a bit downcast from the fact that the dog didn't accept his feeding, so he'll just sort of sulk.
Oh, sorry guys, you guys are gonna have to re-roll.
Oh, yeah, if you delete the tokens.
Yeah.
Okay, let me re-roll for Nordak.
Bam!
Yeah, I'm taking my 22. How did I roll it? Alright, I totally have a 16. Nor my fusion, but whatever. Need to learn to read my characters.
Okay, Mark, you're gonna have to re-roll. Or I
Uh,
screwed up here.
on me here.
Re-roll your initiative. Okay, we're good.
There we are.
Cool. Silly. Gets to go first.
Oh wow. Nice.
Another dog breaks out behind you.
Reese throws another thing at it, ration. The other one. Eventually one of these things will love me.
I'm not so sure about that. I draw my axe and my shield.
I don't suppose comprehend languages would let me talk to the dogs.
Is there a speak with animals spell?
I don't know.
There is, but I don't know if anybody has it.
Sounds like a druid spell to me.
Yeah. Oh well. Reese goes over and tries to get his rations back.
That's a good way to get bit.
Yeah.
Sorry about
I'm not
that.
worried. I'm not worried.
Okay. So what do you guys do?
I walk over
How
to
far away is
first
the,
ration.
Wait a minute. Still ends up. Talk a little louder. I can't hear you.
how far away is the person I saw in the tree, or the thing I saw in the tree?
You realize that the shadow was from this dog.
Oh.
So you have a large dog. You guys know what the size of a Great Dane is?
Yeah.
Pretty much looking like that. Front and back. One in front, one in back.
Do they want to attack us, or they just kindly seem to be guarding or blocking us?
They're not attacking. It's just as though you came up on a dog, an angry dog sleeping or something, and
Maybe they're glassy. They want to point us to some kids that fell
maybe
down.
yeah, maybe.
What? Billy fell down a well?
Yes. This is a growl.
Well, Reese is still trying to get that ration back, the first one. So to the front dog, I guess.
You hear a large silence. You hear a voice come from the trees. The dogs silence immediately.
Reese says, I wasn't saying anything.
The dogs run over to a man that comes out of the forest. The two dogs sit or stand beside him. Greetings. Sorry to scare you.
No worries. I like dogs.
You seem new in this area.
Yes,
I've never
I
seen you
know.
before.
I travel a lot for personal reasons.
You? You look like a... What are those on your arms?
Sleeves, friend.
Hmm.
So Nordak kind of yells over, and he says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, but we need some assistance. Our friend is ill. We need to find, perhaps, a doctor, a healer, a town, an inn where we can rest."
You won't find much help in Barovia, but you can try. I would suggest the church. The townsfolks are very wary of strangers, as I am of you. What are you?
We have no ill intent. We're just travelers.
You don't look human.
That is because I am not. Have you not seen Dragonkin before?
Dragons are for killing. Shall we kill you?
And then Nordak gets very angry.
I place my hand on Nordak's arm and kind of try to calm him down.
We mean no ill intent, but if you attacked us, we will defend ourselves.
And how will you defend yourselves?
It is with steel, with spells.
And you are a magician?
Magician? No, I am a paladin of Bahamut. I serve the light of the dragon god.
I see. The gentleman is decked out in hunting attire. He's got a very strong bow. Not very long, but very strong. He has several large rodents swung over his shoulder. How long have you guys been traveling? And where are you traveling from?
Well, we had thought that this was Evergreen, but apparently we are wrong. We are trying to understand this ourselves.
I heard you're searching for Evergreen. This is
Evergreen.
Barovia.
That is what does not make sense. We came from here, and it was Evergreen. And now we
He walks
return.
over to Iman. Iman, why don't you describe yourself to the party?
Describe myself to the party?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a human and medium tall and kind of stocky build. Very strong looking and blonde hair. And I've got, like, my clothing is mostly armor. And it's chainmail armor, and I carry a shield and a battle axe. I am battle worn. I have a soldier's background, so I always kind of when I size people up. The first time I meet people, I'm always sizing them up to see how they might behave in a fight.
He casually reaches towards your battle axe, saying silence to the dogs. And they immediately silence. That looks like a mighty axe. Is it magical?
I look at him kind of warily, and I slowly respond, and I say, it is not magical, but I have slain those who are magical with it.
He laughs. So your friend is in need of attention.
Yes, he is very ill. Something is wrong with him. And Arden is just kind of got his eyes closed and rolled in the back of his head. And as Nordak releases Arden's mouth, Arden just says, They're coming. They're going to get me. They're going to get me. Oh no. And then Nordak puts his hand over his mouth. As you can see, he is not thinking properly.
I see. He walks over to the shield. Another common fighter, huh?
I speak up and I say, may we know your name, Hunter?
Oh, certainly. Certainly. They call me Sandborn.
Sandborn.
I hunt these forests.
And what manner of creatures do you hunt? I've never seen rodents that large.
It's about the size of a raccoon.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I have then.
They're
not ROUSs.
You've never been to New York City's subway system.
That's a nice bow you have. What's your name?
I am Scylla, and I am also a hunter of sorts.
Oh, really?
Trained mostly.
And what manner of forest do you hunt?
Just beyond here, from the direction we came from. I seek my father. He is a hunter as well. Have you happened to have seen him in your wood?
Are you guys here to find her father?
Nordak cuts in and says, yes, we are here to help her as well. But first we must figure out what is going on.
Going on? We're simple folk living in Barovia. Is that bow magical?
No.
Ah.
It's a normal bow, but it's not the bow that counts as the one that uses it.
And what special abilities do you have with a bow?
I'm quite good with it.
Nordak looks at the hunter suspiciously and he says, Sandborn, you are asking some strange questions indeed.
We're very protective in Barovia.
So what is this fascination you have with magical weapons?
A fascination?
You've asked every one of us so far if our weapon is magical. Surely you have some reason for this.
Certainly. Do you have magical weapons?
No. I have a cane. Honestly, what kind of damage could I do with a cane?
I don't know. You must be a spellcaster.
Or I'm just some guy with a cane.
I think not. What's that on your hand? He grabs your arm. He notices something on your hand, pushes up your sleeve. What? Interesting. What is this?
Which sleeve has he pushed up?
You choose.
Let's go for the interesting one. But I've forgotten which arm it is. So
Describe your character.
He pushes up a sleeve and it reveals an intricate tattoo, a Chinese style tattoo, if that makes any sense, with lots of birds and sky squirrels and stuff on it. And Reese simply shrugs and says, I like body art. Is that a crime?
I don't think so.
It is in some Middle Eastern country. That's beside the point.
So what kind of spells do you cast?
I don't cast spells, I have a cane.
Ah.
I told you, not everyone you meet is a magical creature.
Nordak is looking very uneasy seeing this hunter ask all of these probing questions. He says, "We just want to get to somewhere safe."
Well, there really is no safe place in Barovia.
What do you mean by that?
Let's go forward. And he starts walking down with his dogs.
Reese catches up and goes, "Is there at least any drink in Barovia?"
Everyone roll perception.
Okay.
You want Arden to roll perception? With a minus 15 or something?
Get a minus 15, sure.
Nice.
So as you guys walk down, well, he walks forward. You guys follow? He's about, wow, that's one heck of a roll.
That's a pretty bad roll on a D2015, honestly.
Yeah,
It is.
Arden sees and hears a nothing that is actually there.
Okay. He's about a good 30 feet ahead of you. The dogs are right behind him.
Did I catch up with him to ask about the wine?
Sure, sure.
Okay. In that case, I'm also at front. Stepping along with my cane.
As you're walking forward, you notice that Nordak is kind of yelling out for some assistance because Arden appears to be struggling against him.
I'll go and assist with that.
Now you see that Arden is just...
Do we not have any rope or anything that we can restrain him with?
Nordak says, "Yes, we need to restrain him. He's really acting erratic." And Arden just looks like he is just possessed. Just bugging out. And as Arden breaks out of Nordak's hand, he points over at a direction in the woods, and he says, "It's there! Right there! It's coming for us! The ghoul! It's there!" You look over in that direction, you don't really see anything. Just darkness and fog. And then Nordak restrains Arden and gets out the rope to help tie him down.
Scylla walks near to Reese and whispers to him that someone is following us.
Reyes is okay. So Reyes, you walk up to Reyes and the hunter.
Well, I'm not looking in the right spot then. We don't want to go near the hunter, I don't think. We're going to go
That's why. Yeah, clarifying.
towards Nordak over here. I think he's a safe distance away.
Nordak is busy trying to restrain Arden. Arden's trying to break out of his grasp, and Nordak is trying to wind the rope around Arden to calm him down.
Sees this and finally decides on Eamon. I think that's closest to me anyway. Eamon. And she whispers to him, backing toward him. Just whispers, "We're being followed by someone."
And I say, "Stay alert, keep your bow ready. I do not trust this hunter."
And she
Nordak
does
says,
so.
"Nor
She
do
just
I.
keeps an ear on.
Something is very suspicious about him, but I can't put my finger on it."
Okay.
As you continue to walk, you up ahead. You see a shadowy structure up ahead. You see black pools of water standing. They're like dark mirrors on the road. Muddy mirrors. The chilling mist is swirling on the floor, just as you recall in the Empress Nemia's tomb. Thick, cold. Spreads over the ground before you. The large tree trunks stand like on guard on both sides of the road, branches covering clawing over the road itself, blocking most of the light from above. In every direction, the fog grows thicker, and the forest seems more oppressive.
Daddy, why did you take off those shoes?
Can I have some help? Are you gonna get up?
Nordak kind of looks around and says, if we don't get Arden some help soon, I'm afraid he could die. I don't know what is wrong with him.
So this shadowy hut over there, do you reckon we could take shelter there and take care of Arden? Reese shouts back.
And Nordak says, what is it? I can't see from here.
I don't know, it looks like a hut to me.
Ask Sanborn. Perhaps it is his hunting lodge.
Alright.
Give Sanborn a second.
Yeah.
Is it like Sandborn or Samborn?
Sanborn.
S-A-N-B-R, okay.
I ask Cylin if she can make out any of what kind of creature is following us. A human, or is it a beast of some kind?
Why don't you, Cylin, do a... did you do a perception check already?
The first one, we all did one.
Okay.
I did. And there's just someone that's following us, that's for sure. And they're in the trees.
I'm back.
Sanborn, where have you brought us? What is this hut? Is it your hunting lodge?
Oh. No, actually, as you approach, you notice that, let's see, Iman, Nordak, Morlin, Arden, Moswith. You see the familiar entrance to Evergreen.
Ah,
Ta-da!
that is not a hut.
Yep.
All
So
of a
Reese
sudden,
just sort of stops and goes, well, guess it's not a hut.
all
The
of a
gate
sudden,
is actually closed.
Arden just, he just kind of breaks through and he's, No! 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 Don't go, don't take me there! It is the place of the dead! Don't take me there! And Nordak is just struggling to restrain Arden.
I step up to Arden and I punch him in the head. I try to knock him out.
Roll an attack on Arden.
All right. Let's see. It's not my battle axe. Let's see. I'm gonna just do.
That would also take the adventure in a different direction.
It's a good whack.
Yeah. Does that hit him?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So you knock Arden out.
Good. That ought to keep him quiet for a while.
Ah, yes. Gray in the fog, the familiar high stone pillars of Evergreen loom up from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the roads. Huge iron gates hang from the stonework. Dew clings to their rusty portcullis. Standing before the pillars are two stone statues, armed guardians with witched pole arms. Their carved heads lie among the weeds at their feet, neatly broken from the stone shoulder. As you approach the gate, the tension in your bones rise. This gate's slowly swing open. Sanborn waits.
Reese looks at the rest of the party and goes, "Is this your Evergreen? It doesn't seem like such a nice place. Nor does it seem very green, honestly."
Lord, this is not Evergreen.
This place is evil.
The
This is
portcullis rises.
all my life.
That is pretty loud.
Nordak says, these are the gates to Evergreen, but what I see before me is not Evergreen.
Well then, let's go and find out what curse has befallen the town of Evergreen.
Sure. Reese shrugs and steps in.
I approach Sanborn and ask him, Sanborn, is this the town that you call Barovia?
This is our home. The town of Barovia. I hear there's none like it. Have you encountered many monsters along your journey?
Some, but I do not see how that is relevant at the moment. Well, shall we proceed forth? And perhaps we can find a place to take care of Arden and find out more about what's going on around here.
We have to go forward. There's no other choice.
We must keep our wits about us. Something is very wrong.
Sounds good. You know, a place can look really terribly bad, but have really great ale, as proven by the Hopkins.
Okay, you stand before the entrance.
Nordak is the first to step through, and he just kind of looks around into the fog, followed by Morlin, who steps through behind him.
And then
Nordak
Reese steps in and goes,
the donkey with Arden kind of knocked out, riding on top of it, steps through as well.
And I follow.
Reese follows as well, and he goes, "So, where's the tavern?"
I kind of back in with her arrows drawn.
Yeah, Most Swift kind of gets your meaning and works with you on that. He has a crossbow. As you guys move through the gate, another Reese, Cylin and Most Swift see another gentleman step out of the trees. And they come through the gate as well. Dressed similar to Sanborn. They have much more meat hanging over their shoulders. And they stay a good distance from you. As you guys get to where the tower that used to be a beautiful greeting place for Evergreen, the gates close, or the portcullis closes. You can hear it close in the distance.
Someone needs to oil that gate.
Would you like to be on our maintenance crew?
No, I'm not good with my hands, honestly.
Then let's go to maybe inn or tavern.
He says, you can go to the tavern, but I think the doors are closed today.
Is
What
there?
tavern is that?
Nordak looks around. How come there is no one on the streets?
You journey about a good hour, and you start to see what looks like a town up ahead. Sanborn describes that the tavern has been closed. The market's been closed.
And why is that? Competition by a nearby town?
No, there is no nearby town.
Why not?
I
It seems
think-
like such a nice area.
Yeah, really.
You get close to the town itself, and you start seeing that the buildings, the windows are shuttered, the doors are closed. It's good afternoon by now, and nobody is walking the streets. He says, atop a slight rise in the opposite side of town, there's a mountain rises above the edge of the forest, or edge of the town. You see up on a rise a stone and wooden structure, and he says, there you will find the church. That is probably the only place that will accept you today.
All right.
Probably the only place.
Well, that sounds promising, seeing as we seek aid for Arden.
A place of worship would be the most appropriate.
But we, my friends and I, we must go. We have our wives to attend to.
Alright.
Our food.
You have a good one now, says Reese, and he heads off towards the church.
The two that were, good 50 yards away from you, they seem to be following you.
Shall we challenge them and ask them why they're following us?
We haven't much time to waste. Arden is very sick. Let us make haste to the church.
All right,
We'll keep our eyes on them. Just head for the church.
good idea. Let's press forward towards the direction of the church where Sanborn told us the church was.
Okay.
Okay, so as the party approaches the hill, atop a slight rise stands a solitary gray sagging building of stone and wood. This church has weathered the assaults of evil for centuries, it appears. And it appears to be worn and weary. The bell tower hangs to one side. Its sweet tone appears to have been long silenced. There's flickering light that shines through the holes burned through the roof shingles. And the rafters appear to be straining feebly against their load. This place looks like it has not been cared for a long time. But there is light inside. Shall we enter?
Yes, let us approach. Are the doors closed?
The doors are open.
The doors are open. Interesting.
So, as you walk through the shoddy wooden double doors, a smell of burning candles and dank wood combined with flickering light greets you. You enter a warm antechamber. Its walls are adorned with wood-painted symbols of the light giver. This is Hagias's god. 2 candle sconces are fixed on either side, lit with candles. The floorboards creak gently as you step forward into the chapel. A well-adorned altar is centered against the far wall of the room. On the altar is fixed a beautiful golden icon of the light giver. A priest appears knelt before the altar, deep in prayer. There are 10 rows of pews split down the middle with an aisle of weathered red carpet. And you see a dozen parishers fixed in prayer.
At least there are people here.
And Nordak comes in carrying Arden in his arms. As you step closer, suddenly one of the parishers turns around, startled at your arrival. She stands up and covers her mouth with a hand as her gaze meets Nordak. "Dracul!" she yells. And then another parisher turns around and points to Morlin. "Strigoi!" All of the parishers turn around and they look very startled. A confused clamor fills the room, and the parishers all stand up and start backing away. And one parisher yells, "No! It is Strahd himself, here to claim our souls!" And then all of a sudden the priest gets up, and you see that he is actually a fairly young man. He is wearing his ceremonial garments as he raises both his hands to calm the crowd. "Silence! Silence! Be calm! They are not demons." And then the priest approaches you. He kind of looks at the party one after another, and then he turns around and he looks at the party again and he says, "You are a dragonkin, and you are a tiefling. We have not seen your kind before. Please, please, come in." And then Nordak runs over and says, "Our friend is ill. We do not know where else to go. This is the only place in Barovia we could find." And then the priest kind of goes over to examine Arden. He says, "This man, bring him to the back. He is cursed." And then he and Nordak both go to the back, leaving the rest of the party.
Oh.
And you see that all the parishers in the church are looking very kind of scared of Morlin, kind of backing away. None of them are, they're all looking at you frightfully. None of them are talking to you.
Reese will step up and say, "People, worry not. We are Arden's... Well, I suppose not at the moment. We are dragon slayers. We go around the world performing good deeds and such, but we seem to have been misplaced. We were looking for a town called Evergreen, which was somewhere around here, but we haven't found it yet, and we were told that you nice people could take us in."
One of the parishers looks at you very suspiciously and he says, "You are strangers to this land. You do not belong here in Barovia."
Indeed, those words are true, but nonetheless, we are here and we seek shelter.
And then
Surely
one
we will turn down travelers in need.
One of the parishioners kind of spits on the floor and says, "Dragoi," and points to Morlin. And they all kind of back away. And you see that they're actually trying to scurry around you and leave the church one after another.
More room for us.
I actually step forward when he spits on the ground and curses at Morlin, and I say, "We have no quarrels with you, but it is unwise to threaten my friends."
You bring Stragoi to this holy place of worship. You bring Dracul to this holy place of worship. And he looks at you angrily while he's making his way out of the church.
I stop one of them and I go, "Who is this Strigoi you keep talking about and this Dracul guy?"
And they don't answer you, they just start kind of clearing out. And then a few moments later, you see that priest that you met earlier comes out, and he's got a wary look on his face. And he says, "I am Jaromir. Please, please, forgive these peoples ignorance of your kind. We have never seen your kind. We have never seen dragonkin. We have never seen tiefling. I do know of your kind from books of histories past. It is strange that you, foreigners, have come to our lands. Tell me, from where do you hail? And the priest kind of gives a very friendly gesture. He puts both of his palms up. He comes forward towards you, Eamon. He says, "You are dressed strangely." He identified himself as Jaromir.
Yaromir.
Jaromir.
Okay. Well met, Yaromir. My name is Iman Grey, and we hail from a town called Evergreen, which we were trying to return to when we came across Barovia instead. We ourselves are quite confused about how we arrived in this desolate location, and we were seeking assistance in the hope that someone might be able to explain our circumstances to us.
Evergreen, you say? You have seen Evergreen? And he looks at you with a very concerned, confused look.
Yes, that is what I said.
That is not possible. Evergreen is an ancient place. It is a town that was destroyed centuries ago. That is not possible. And he looks a little bit frightened at hearing you talk about coming from Evergreen.
Scyllin remembers a story that she's heard in the clan about a great war that happened centuries before and the fog that came after that war. Maybe it was between Evergreen and some other opponent.
It is not possible that you are from that place. It is a place that is cursed, and a mighty demon came forth and destroyed the town. We stand on the spot where Evergreen once stood. This is Barovia. And the young priest kind of starts saying a prayer to himself and gesturing in a holy way. He says, "I, Jaromir, and my sister, we have taken care of this place for many months now since our father Kolyan died. We are the Hagias family, and we take care of the church, and we know the history from the past. I have heard of Evergreen, but I have told no one else. We have read it and recorded in our history books. I am not sure how you can be from this place."
As Yaromir speaks, kind of a chill runs down Iman's back, and the hairs rise up on his neck. If what you say is true, then some strange magic is at play here. For we are from Evergreen, and we were there not but days ago.
As you say this, all of a sudden, the voice of a girl kind of comes out from the back and says, Jaromir, I need to speak to you." And then a young teenage woman comes out. She looks like to be about 16 or 17. She's very beautiful. She has blonde hair down to her shoulders. And she is also dressed in the ceremonial robes of priesthood, the same robes as Jaromir is dressed with. And she comes over, and as she comes out, she sees the rest of the party, and she puts her hand over her mouth. "Who are these people, Jaromir?" And Jaromir kind of looks to her and says, "Irina, go back to your room."
You freak.
Love it.
Well timed.
Excellent.
And then Jaromir kind looks at you again, and he says, Well, have a seat. Please, take your rest here. I must think on these events.
Okay.
Thank you for your hospitality, Jaromir.
Yaramir goes about, as some of the parishioners have left, he goes around cleaning up and invites everybody to sit down in the church.
Reese just sort of lounges himself onto the pews, taking up quite a lot of space, lying on it sideways.
Nordak comes out from the back room and he says, Arden, he is in very bad shape. And then Yaramir says, he is cursed. I cannot remove this curse. It is powerful. It is centuries old. I do not know how any man could have come upon such misery. And Nordak says, surely there's something we can do. Yaramo says, it is beyond my power. And Nordak looks at the rest of you, kind of concerned to see, what could be done.
Well, I asked Yaramir, what is the nature of this curse?
Yaramir kind of looks at you and leans over and doesn't want to say it out loud and whispers. He says, necromancy. And then as Yaramir is saying this, the young girl comes back out from the back, and she says, I've heard this. I heard you. Surely this is Strahd's doing. It is Strahd. And then Yaramir turns to Irina, and he says, do not say his name. Girl, do you wish to bring his evil into this house? And she says, I will say his name if I wish. It is enough that we suffer under his rule. Strahd, Strahd, Strahd! And then Yaramir gets really angry and runs over and escorts Irina out of the room.
Alright.
All right.
Reese goes into the room where Arden went. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
You guys may do Arcana or Medicine check on Arden.
Go for Arcana, I think. I can find it. There it is.
Very nice. As you kind of examine the weave of magical energy surrounding Arden, first of all, he looks like he's in a fetal position, completely unresponsive, just mumbling nonsense to himself. But as you examine the magical energies around him, you realize that there is indeed very powerful magic that is fixated on him. This magic seems beyond your abilities. It seems something that is so extremely powerful. You've never even seen something this powerful before, and you're actually quite impressed with how strong this magic is. It appears that this is a magic that becomes stronger over time, and looks like it has been festering for centuries and has cursed him. You would not be able to disenchant this. You probably would have to find the source of this magic, if you were even interested in disenchanting this.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
He's probably going to just wither and die.
Reese goes out to the rest of the party and says, well, I had a look and I certainly can't do anything. So...
And Nordak turns to you and says, he is your nephew. How can you not even be concerned about him?
We of the Blanethorn family have a very special family bond. I am concerned, of course, but this is a magic that is more powerful than I can do anything about. And so I will not be worried about it until something happens, during which time I can do something about it.
And Nordic says, well, surely then our task is to find the origin of this magic or this curse and destroy it.
I suggest we find out where we are first.
Is
But
it
then,
not apparent we're somewhere centuries from where we were?
yes. And we do not know anything about the land or what is going on in it. I'm not going to wander out into the wilderness to find this curse of Ardens, the source of which may have died centuries ago. Only to find myself lost in some sort of war that may be going on without just knowing.
As you are talking to Nordak, Irina comes out again. And then she looks at everybody. She says, strangers, please listen to me. I can help you. And then she says, my brother, he does not know, but I need to speak to you. And then she motions everybody over to a corner. And as everybody kind of gathers around her, she says, my name is Irina Koliana Hagas, and I am Yaramir's sister, and I need your help, and I think I can help you. And she says, your friend, whatever dark magic has cursed him, it has to come from the one known as Strahd. Do you know of Strahd?
Never heard of the guy.
He is the ruler of the land. He is the count. He is evil. Everyone knows. He is evil and he controls the dark forces of the night. Some say he is a demon. Some say he is some form of ogre that has taken the name of the Van Dibian family and taken control. But he must be the source of this dark magic. There is no other in Barovia. And he says, and I need your help too. Someone very close to me, my close friend. I believe Strahd has captured him, and I need to rescue him, and my brother will not approve of this, but I need your help. Will you help me? I will do what I can to help you.
We can't turn down such a person in need.
And she says, I cannot
Help us.
fight. I stand no chance against the evil of Strahd, but I can help you. I have the skills of a priest. I can heal you. I can ward away evil. She says, but we must hurry. I do not know what Strahd's intentions are. If we can destroy Strahd, then we can possibly lift the curse on your friend.
Well, it sure would be good to have someone around who knows the landscape, if anything. I say we go for it.
And then, all of a sudden, as she's actually saying these things, there's a knock on the door. And she turns around a little bit frightened, and then she says, wait here for a minute. And she goes over to answer the door. She opens the door, and you guys do a perception check. You're not close to her, so you don't see who exactly it is.
Hey, that wasn't half bad.
Okay. It appears to be a shadowy man, very tall, like 6'5" almost. Does not say a single word, and then hands Irina the letter, a letter sealed in an envelope. And Irina takes the letter, and the man says something that you can't really perceive, and she looks at him, she says, no, you may not come in. And she turns around, and she walks to the rest of you, and she opens up the letter, and she says, I believe this is probably from Strahd himself. And she shakily, she looks at the seal. You look at the seal on the letter, and it has a big S on it. She opens up the letter, and she begins to read the letter out loud to everybody. She says, Irina Koliana Hagias, the venerable Count Strad van Dipien, to whose this estate belongs the entirety of the land of Barovia, requests the pleasure of your company and that of your, and she looks to you, foreign companions, on this present occasion of a grand banquet to be held tonight within Castle Ravenloft, so that the venerable Count may offer to these strangers his gratitude for an act that took place long ago, and so that you should see the young man, Caravan, is alive and well, healing from his recent injuries. Your compliance to the venerable Count's generous request is expected. Do not be tardy. Cordially, Strad von Dibien. And she says, how could he know? And she looks a little bit scared. And she hands everybody else the letter. And she has her hand over her mouth. How could he have known? He knows, and he knows you.
It seems Strad knows more about this land than anyone else. Perhaps he's the one with whom we should inquire.
Nobody has seen Strad for decades.
Well,
I do
looks
not
like we're
know
going
if
to
he
see
is
him
still
tonight.
a man or alive. But the stagecoach driver, he said that the coach is waiting for us. And she looks at you and she says, will you help me? There's no one in Barovia who will go against Strad. But you are foreigners and you look strong. Perhaps you can succeed. Perhaps you can destroy this foul monster.
Well, honestly, I haven't eaten much since we left that caravan. I threw 2 of my rations to dogs, who then completely ignored it. That was the height of rudeness. And a banquet sounds amazing at this moment, so I say we should go.
Nordak says, well, if it is Strad that has cursed Arden and has brought this darkness on this land, we must destroy him. It is our duty.
Or if Strad has the ability to send us back to our own time, then we should pursue such opportunity.
We must help Arden.
Reese will study the letter, by the way, and the seal.
Irina says, please do not tell my brother. He will not approve. He is very protective.
Is the stagecoach waiting for us right now?
He says, it is outside, I saw it.
Do you mind giving me like 10 minutes to rest? I'd really like to have a sit down after this travel. Honestly, I mean, we traveled almost an entire day to get here, and I really don't want to rush into a stagecoach. I mean, my hair is a mess. Arden's hair is a mess, but he's obviously not in any state to do anything about it. I think it'd be good if we, dressed up for the occasion.
Reese, you have a point, although the letter does say do not be tardy.
Well, he can't exactly expect us to turn up to a banquet completely unprepared. Certain rules of society must be followed. You can't just show up in our traveling gear covered in mud. He is
These
a
are the
lord.
only clothes I have.
Where can we clean up? Where can we find...
Irina gestures that you may find some quarters in this church where you can clean up.
Well, at least we should make ourselves presentable to the Count. I agree with
Sounds
Reese.
Reese goes over to Sancho, who I assume is still outside on the donkey. Well, tending the donkey anyway. And he'll take some extra clothes out of his bag and go into the chambers and put them on.
Well, as you go
Meanwhile-
outside to tend to your donkey, you do see that this very spooky-looking carriage with these spooky-looking horses and a spooky-looking carriage driver just standing there silently looking at you.
I give him a wave while I
He-
go about being fancy.
He does not react.
Boring.
Hmm.
Anyway, while I change into fancy clothes, I would like to ritual cast detect magic.
Upon what?
Upon myself.
Oh, on yourself.
Yeah, it's
There's no magic on yourself that you do not already know about, that you have already cast yourself.
no, detect magic has changed in that it's a concentration spell for up to 10 minutes, and for the duration you sense every magic thing within 30 feet.
Within 30 feet, you do not sense any magic.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, besides, of course, the magic that you already found on Arden.
Yeah, and I guess Nordak's sword and stuff.
Yeah, just the magical trinkets and things like that that you're already aware of.
Alright, fair enough. I'll go have a look at the coach, though, while it's active.
As you examine the coach, you can look at it on the screen. It is a kind of shoddy, halfway broken down looking coach. Very gothic and creepy appearing, but it appears to be just a standard coach. These horses are, they're just they don't look like they are normal horses that would just sit there and, do. Normal horses would sit there and kind of move around a little bit, neigh somewhat. These horses are standing there silently like statues.
Alright.
So
Do they
these
remind
things are
Sylvan of the wolves that attacked her?
not particularly. I guess you can do a insight wisdom check to see if you can connect two and two, or if there is a connection between two and two. Let me see what's Sylvan's.
Wow, nice.
Oh, so since you're rolling a 20, you get a sense of the feeling of fear that you felt when the wolves attacked you is the same feeling of fear that these horses are instilling, but it doesn't feel like they are the same thing. It's not like these are the wolves that attacked you. They're clearly not. But you do get a same sense of fear.
Well, after I've washed the dirt off of my face and cleaned up just a little bit, I'm ready to get into the carriage.
Yeah, Nordak appears ready as well, and Morlin appears ready. Everybody's kind of standing in front of the carriage. It's very spacious. The carriage driver says no words. He's a very tall, lanky man, very thin, and he walks up to the carriage and he opens the door, once again saying no words, but putting his hand out as a gesture to go into the carriage.
As you come outside, you notice that Reese is cleaning up Sancho to look slightly less of a mess, and then he herds him towards the carriage. Leaving his donkey tied up.
Sancho won't fit in the carriage. Oh, Sancho, your servant?
Yes.
Okay. So Sancho lumbers
No.
into the carriage.
I'll tie the donkey to a post near the church. I can try to fit the donkey in, but that will be helpful.
Daddy, the filtering class.
Okay, Nordak gets into the carriage. I guess everybody else heading into the carriage as well. Irina gets in right
Yeah.
after Nordak.
Reese
Yes.
heads in after herding Sancho in.
I offer my hand to Irina to assist her as she enters the carriage.
She says,
And then,
"Oh, thank you kindly." And she gets in as well. So everybody, you sit in the carriage, and it's got 2 rows. It's pretty spacious and enough to accommodate you without feeling cramped. The carriage on the inside, unlike the outside, is very well adorned. There is rich appearing curtains. The seats are well cushioned with goose down. There's gilding all over the inside that appears very, very beautiful and intricate and golden.
Cool.
And you see the shadowy carriage driver get into the front, and he takes out his whip, and he whips the horses, and the carriage is off.
And that
He starts
concludes
beating
our
at
day.
the gold gilding. See if it's actual gold or just.
Okay.
he like bites it, you know.